Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, issue number 13. Really fun book. I'm going to tell you 5 things about this book after we talk about who made the book. So, we've got Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, You Say You Want a Revolution. Tom Taylor is the writer, Ken Lashley, Todd Nauck, Ig Guara, and Dyke Ruan are the artists. Wow, 5 freaking artists on this. 4. I can count. Rachel Rosenberg does the color art, which that's an artist, that's 5. And VC's Travis Lanham does the letters. Andrew C. Robinson does the cover art, and Ryan Stegman and Maury Hollowell do the variant cover. Stan Lee created Spider-Man with Steve Ditko. Okay, so number 1 on this list. I'm not even turning the page yet. I'm staying right on the intro page because, wow, that is a freaking great intro. You know, I don't know how many other people actually talk about the introductions on a comic book, but this is something that I do regularly, and sometimes I've heard some people actually criticize, and by some people, I'm talking about people, editors sometimes in the comic book world, criticizing that I pay so much attention to the intros. Yeah, you know where the critique comes from? From you not paying enough attention to the intros. Editors, get on the ball, man, get on the ball. The point is that this comic book, man, this is like a monthly comic book. Maybe it was delayed. I can't remember when the last issue came out. I'll find out when I go and look at issue 12 review so that I can link it to the description of this one. But in the meantime, like, I don't remember the 12th issue very well. It was a while ago, and y'all know I read a lot of comic books, right? So that introduction is very important to me to be able to pick up, you know, memory-wise, where we left off in the previous issue. And this intro not only told me everything I needed to know, but also highlighted certain words that were kind of important. Holy crap, what a way to do that. It was interesting. It wasn't just some boring, drab thing. Whoever was responsible for doing that intro, freaking good job, man. I'm going to make an argument here that Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man probably has the best intro in comic books right now. Go ahead, fight me. You know, that's what all the kids say now. Anyway, let's talk about number 2 on this list, and that is fantastic new characters. Tom Taylor, writing Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, we've had a couple of brand new characters introduced in these 13 issues. This issue is no different. Brand new characters being... When's the last time that you remember reading a comic, like especially a Spider-Man comic book, where it's not just, oh, you know, here's a villain that we've seen 100 times before, and it's a 6-issue story arc with them, because of course we've got to have a darn trade paperback filled. Oh, and now a new story arc, and here's another villain or 2 that we've seen 1,000 times before. Like, it's been forever since the days of like Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, where every week there was a new villain being shown. You know, every month, whatever, there was a new villain. It's like, wow, you know, and you get to be introduced to these new powers and these new abilities and all this stuff. And here's a guy we barely even got to see except till the end, but he was still a pretty cool villain. And then you see other characters, the resistance to these guys. There are great characters that can and probably will be recurring, even with other writers. That's how good this is. I'm impressed. I'm impressed by that. Number 3 on this list, play to everybody's strengths. The Fantastic Four were in this, along with a couple of other characters. So Spider-Man and Fantastic Four together again feels like something Chip Zdarsky would have written, right? And it really did, because much like Zdarsky, Tom Taylor makes sure that every single character gets a moment where their strengths get to shine. That is important. Tom Taylor might just very well be a role player. He might be a dungeon master and a role player, because, wow. I was like, you know, when I do my Face Rips games, I'll make sure I link that at the end of this video. I make sure that every character gets some kind of a cool moment or 2 in each campaign that I run, so that they can look back on them and be like, that was a fun game. That was a fun game. And that's exactly what happens here. Everybody gets to play to their strengths. That's awesome. That's the way you run a team. Number 4 on this list, the Science 5. Psh. I'm going to leave that there. It's a recurring joke, and it's awesome. And I will say that Tom Taylor should be fired from comics and never be allowed to work in this town or any other town in comic books again if he doesn't do some kind of a return at some point or another with the Science 5, because holy crap, that was too good to never revisit again. That was freaking awesome. Finally, number 5, Tom Taylor's range, it really is amazing. This is a guy who's done a team book like X-Men Red, and he's done where some people like weren't really technically on the team, but they were always recurring, like Namor, technically he was on the team, but how often did he actually roll with them? Yet he was still important to the story. Then he's got Deceased over in DC. Yeah, that made a pretty damn big splash. And yeah, it's probably going to be recurring. Hopefully, it'll be in a good way. I mean, not everybody died on that, right? And then he's done individual solo books like this. Dude, Taylor has a great range. And for the most part, when I read his stories, I know they're going to be either fun or exciting in a very frightening way. This guy's good. I'm going to compare him with Matthew Rosenberg in the way that whatever he's going to be on, it's not going to be like, I don't know, I think this book is a little out of his purview. I don't think that he has the ability to write this kind of a character or this kind of a team with his writing style. Nope, I'm not going to say that. I'm simply not. I'm going to check out the book because I know Taylor is a chameleon. That's what he does. He just, yep, I can write this book. You want me to write that book? I can write that book. And I'm not sure, but I think he has enough integrity to say when he can't write a certain book, because nobody wants that. Anyway, guys, this was fantastic. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man issue number 13. Go and check this out. Put this in your pull list. Seems like it only comes out every other month anyway. But those introductions will keep you going. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.